It is hot in the van today, which means this insulation not really doing its job right now. But we have a number of, holes and exposed areas.
Wouldn't you agree, matron?
So, hopefully, it's not a bad sign that it's not yet working. Right. So today I've had an idea. I want an accurate model of this space so that I can get things cut exactly and do mock-ups in a way that's not just sort of guessing, which is hard. It's not hard, it's expensive. You can just buy someone who has scanned theirs using expensive scanning equipment, but I've had a bit of a plan. So I used to work for a company called Zapper. Shout out to Zapper people. One of the tools we used to do that was basically like photogrammetry software, so sort of computer vision. And I could do the same thing here, tweaked slightly. Take a number of different images and use those images to find points, basically bits of colour that are different between the images, and then start to build up a sort of point cloud of the space, and then construct a model from that data. Now, the big issue with that is, I don't know if you've noticed, but all of this is pretty shiny, and shininess is not good when it comes to computer vision things, because basically the way without actually having depth data, with only having photographs, it looks for variations in colour, and as you can see here, there's obviously the sort of red bit and then the white bit. That's all good, but then you have this brighter white here and then a duller sort of grey white here, and the software will be like, oh cool, I found another little point here, I can use that. But it's obviously, that is a lie, because as we move, that will move with us, because that's not an actual artifact of the area. That is obviously the reflection coming out of the window. So all of this white area basically is semi-unusable. So my plan now is to get a load of different coloured tape and put it all over the place to give it more points of data. Before I do any of that, I'm going to have to move all this stuff, because I don't need accurate 3D data of where these cardboard boxes are. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be a feature in the final design. Right, all that's done. Looking neater a bit. These, which I'm going to put on all of the white bits. Hope that's enough. Right, so we have the pictures we need, but what are we going to do with them? So you've probably noticed from all of these videos that I'm not very good at doing them, but I am good at programming, and that's what I do for a living. These games are a few games that I've worked on. I won this award for doing something very similar to what we're going to be doing in this video, and yeah, so I was all ready to basically program this from scratch, but I was a couple of hours into it, using Python, grabbing the different
modules I need to get it all working. And then I thought, this must exist already, and it's certainly a lot more accessible if you guys are wanting to try this yourselves, to actually point you towards some product. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. I looked online, and there's a free software called Meshroom, which does exactly this thing, photogrammetry. So yeah, we're going to do that. So I'll show you their website first, because you can see there's this make a donation button, and as you can tell, none of that money goes towards maintaining the website, which must mean it all goes on making the software, which means the software must be good. So that's the general rule: is the worse the website, the better the software. That's what we've got to hope for anyway. So yeah, so I've kind of cheated because I've done this already, so this isn't going to be a demonstration on how to do it really. There are a load online. I'll post some in the description, but I'm just going to show you basically how it works. So so you have this graph here that basically goes through all the different parts of creating the model. So first thing it does really is image matching. So you can see here all of this, all of those are places that I've taken photographs. So it's looked at the images and found points that are similar in them, and therefore sort of worked out the original position of the camera, and it's put them all in here. And then it creates a point cloud from all those features, and as you can see, you get a lot with anything shiny like this. You're going to get a lot of false positives. So all of these things, you know, my van isn't, you know, it's not brand new, but it doesn't have holes that have, you know, exploded out of it. So you can see all of these things here. I'll just bring it up, make it a bit more obvious. They're all problems, obviously. But then you can ask it to try and create a depth map, which is kind of what it's already done here, and then try and filter these results to try and figure out where these issues are. And when you've done that, you end up with a mesh. So and this is just showing you what sort of a slope our van is on outside, because it, as you can tell, it is very wonky. But yeah, so let's just go inside. So here we are, pretty you know, very bubbly, but pretty impressive, to be honest. And all of this you can smooth in, for example, Blender, another 3D modeling software that is also free. So you can use that to try and smooth things out. The problem is the hard edges you want to keep. So, and actually I think for my purposes this is actually fine. So yeah, but anyway, after you do some mesh filtering to try and get rid of some of those harsh bits, it ends up like this. And finally, once you've done that, you can add the texture back on, and here we are, our 3D model. And once you've done this, you can put this model into whatever software you want to try and model how you want your space to be. So as I've said before, you know, I'm a games developer, so I'm using Unreal Editor because it's what I know, it's easy. So here it is in that, and even though it's very bobbly, this is actually accurate in general to about 0.5 centimeter, which is all I need for what I'm doing. So once you've done that, you can, let's go in here for example. So this is an example layout with a bed that can go up into, be stored up here, which is how I was originally going to do this, but ZB's persuaded me not to do that, so I think that's the right decision, because you don't actually save any space by doing this, because you can't use the space that's underneath it, because you can't store things here, because at some point the bed has to come down. So yeah, anyway, so this is one example of a layout. I've added here a divider which I can open up and put back down again. This would be the bath, the toilet room slash shower, and some hobs here. That's one example, but this is how I think it's going to be. So I'm going to have a divider here, but you have the fixed bed and some storage up here, and yeah, some lighting under that. So I'm pretty impressed with Meshroom. Yeah, it's a good bit of software, and since the alternative was spending 1,000 Canadian dollars on a model or programming it myself, I definitely would recommend that. And now the fun bit of actually putting a design into action. So like, subscribe. Oh, I have Zuzu on my lap. I should show you that. This is going to be tricky. I'll just have to move backwards because she won't let me pick her up. She's not the sort of cat that you can actually interact with. She more comes to you. But let's see. Oh no, she's gone. She's left me. Don't be like Zuzu. Like and subscribe and come back next week. Bye.